Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll take a look at the long and fruitful career of State Senator Robert Stivers. And a recent examination is bringing up a very troubling report on Elkhorn City's financial problems.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. It is Thursday, April 18th, and we are at 5:30 this morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
And it's for some that is, Friday Eve. A step closer to the weekend, we're almost there. We get you ready to head out. And it's a warm day, but not as warm as yesterday morning. 61, last check outside our door here at WYMT. We've got a warm one on tap today. Average high is 70. A lot of us will be well into the 80s today. A shower and thunder shower threat tonight, which we'll continue to keep an eye on, but it's not looking as potent as it possibly could be. And then we trend colder, and yes, some of you will say colder, heading into and through this coming weekend. In the meantime, our temperatures right now are generally mid and upper 50s and lower 60s, not only across the eastern half of Kentucky, but on into the Virginias. And the satellite weather composite not completely showing the finite detail regarding the cloud cover, but let's just talk about the general trend of drier air moving across the bluegrass state. And that means nothing but a good deal of sunshine today, calling it partly cloudy, and a high later today in Hazard up to 83. So how much cooler will it be heading into the weekend? We'll let you know. Your first alert 7-day forecast is coming up in just a few moments. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Robert Stivers has been in the state Senate since 1997, and the Clay County native has served as Kentucky's Senate president since 2013. Even while dealing with statewide issues, Stivers has found a way to prioritize Eastern Kentucky. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox was able to talk to Stivers about his long career.
These are the types of investments I believe we need to make.
Robert Stivers spends a lot of time in Frankfort discussing legislative matters, but his home is in Manchester. Clay County is where his law office is, and a consistent part of a district that has shifted through the years in the Senate.
We used to have West Liberty and Moorhead and Hyden and Campton and a lot of other places.
The 25th district has moved southwest since Stivers took office in 1997, but his ambitions have remained the same.
We think of ourselves sometimes as just a county, but we're a region. A lot of people work in Hazard from here. A lot of people in London come to here or go to Barberville or to Corbin. And so we really need to have more of a regional type of dynamic.
Region-wide improvements. A lot of Stivers' work can be traced to developing infrastructure.
And infrastructure has, in my mind, a very broad meaning.
Starting with roadways, Stivers pointed at crews recently finishing Highway 30 in the Cumberland Valley, a project he and other leaders worked on for more than a decade.
Getting the road built, a new Highway 30 from London to Boonville through Laurel County, Jackson County to Owsley, and then on up to Beattyville. Having that road has made such a huge difference.
Stivers says infrastructure goes beyond roadways, the common thought behind the word.
There is a personal infrastructure, an educational infrastructure.
Eastern Kentucky lacks a public four-year institution in the region.
Let's start off in Richmond, Lexington, and Moorhead. That's where the so-called universities, public universities that service our area are. And they're really more in central Kentucky than eastern Kentucky.
Enter Senate Joint Resolution 98, a study commissioned by Stivers to see if a public university could work in the area.
One of the reasons we didn't have bachelor's degrees and people having to leave the area is because we didn't have a residential four-year institution.
The Council on Post-Secondary Education found Hazard to be the spot to establish one.
It's about an hour from Manchester. It's about an hour from Pikeville. It's about an hour from Syersville. It's about 30 minutes from Whitesburg. So you start looking around, it was the central point with already a facility there that could be expanded on.
That facility being Hazard Community and Technical College.
The campus is there of Hazard Community and Technical College. There's the potential of obtaining land in and around that college.
The transition would take a few years to finalize, but that is not all Stivers looks to accomplish in the future. He is looking to have funding allocated to expand the Hal Rogers Parkway, among many other goals. And all, Stivers says the hard work is a team effort.
A rising tide raises all ships, and united we stand and divided we fall, our state motto. We really need to look at how we work together, and that's what I hope has brought this about.
The 2024 East Kentucky Leadership Award for Public Individual goes to Robert Stivers.
We will continue our profiles of East Kentucky Leadership Award winners through the end of next week. The East Kentucky Leadership Conference will be held next Thursday and Friday, April 25th and 26th in Corbin. You can learn more on WYMT.com and get tickets by going to eklf.org. Police in Mingo County, West Virginia are asking for help finding a wanted man. Here's a picture of Jonathan David Fleming of Dingus, West Virginia. Fleming is wanted by the Mingo County Sheriff's Office for grand larceny. The Sheriff's Office says the incident happened last week. Anyone with information about the case is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office at 304-235-0300. Kentucky Auditor Allison Ball conducted a special examination of Elkhorn City's government, and some financial issues were found. Here are a couple of things mentioned. More than $89,000 of local government economic assistance fund dollars were spent without documentation, and the city failed to pay required employee contributions of more than $116,000 to the Kentucky Public Pension Authority for city employee pensions. We have much more about this on WYMT.com. A Laurel County man will spend more than a decade behind bars after stabbing someone. In February, Joshua Bowling stabbed another man 5 times and slashed his back with a knife. The victim survived, but Bowling was sentenced to 15 years in jail yesterday. He initially faced an attempted murder charge, but it was dropped. A Laurel County woman accused of killing a businessman was in yesterday. Deputies say in 2021, Victoria Stetrelsky shot Brian McCarthy in the back. The change of venue hearing has been scheduled for June 19th. A law regarding underage vaping is now at the center of a lawsuit. House Bill 11 will prevent the sale of any vape products without FDA authorization or a safe harbor certification. Some owners say the law would prevent them from being able to sell most of their products, as the FDA has only authorized 23 products.
It bans everything in our store. Like 98% of everything would be banned here. We couldn't survive that. There's no way.
House Bill 11 also creates harsher penalties for retailers who sell tobacco products to people under 21. Tracy says he has no issue with this because he doesn't believe vape shops are the ones selling to people who are underage. For the first time, a plaintiff is speaking out in a lawsuit filed against UK, its athletic director, and 2 former swim coaches. The complaint claims that university empowered Lars Jorgensen to create a toxic and sexually hostile environment. It took several years before Briggs Alexander was able to share his experience about his time swimming and coaching at the University of Kentucky. He says he wore the blue and white proudly, but believes the Title IX office failed him and other athletes.
I didn't know if anyone was going to believe me. I mean, I read my own story, and I can't believe that happened to me.
Alexander says on multiple occasions he was sexually assaulted at Lars Jorgensen's home. Alexander feels as though his coach used his position of power and openly objectified, humiliated, degraded, and taunted him. Advocates who were involved in the USA gymnastics scandal say this practice is all too common and more can be done to protect young victims. In Laurel County, a Jackson County man is facing charges after police say he tried to get away from them. The incident happened Monday night when a London police officer pulled up on Braden Carey after he had stopped. Kerry turned off his lights before accelerating away from the officer. Police were later able to track him down. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Somerset man is facing multiple charges after deputies found him hiding in a crawl space. Police say on April 7th, 32-year-old Cody Markham forced his way into a home with a gun, threatening to shoot 2 people if they didn't comply with his demands. The victim says Markham stole from them and assaulted them. The next day, police got a warrant, searched a home, found Markham, and arrested him. Markham was taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. In Pulaski County, 2 men are behind bars after police say they found drugs on them. The incident happened 2 weeks ago at a home on Lakeview Drive in Nancy. Police were called out to the home after responding to a trespassing complaint. Police later found digital scales and a crystal-like substance similar to meth on Darwin Roberts and Eric Lawhorn. Roberts and Lawhorn were taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. As you may know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and a local organization wanted to do its part in spreading awareness to the youth of southeastern Kentucky. The Sapling Center hosted its annual Child Abuse and Awareness event yesterday morning in Whitesburg to help children stay informed and safe. Amanda Wooten says the goal is to raise awareness and educate those in the community.
Annual Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention event. It's our goal to bring awareness and educational information to the communities that we serve. Kentucky is a mandated reporting state, therefore anybody that suspects child abuse and neglect should report to social services or law enforcement.
The Sapling Center will have another child abuse awareness event tomorrow in Knox County's Town Square starting at 10:30 a.m. Still to come, Ford is having to recall more Broncos and other trucks with new issues coming to light.
With the lack of cloud cover this morning, the pinpoint Doppler radar, well, we can kind of give it a break this morning. But does it become active tonight into tomorrow where we need to be keeping a close eye? We'll let you know. Your First Alert 7-day forecast looking ahead into the weekend is coming up right after this.